Good morning Year 7 and welcome to today's maths lesson. Here's today's starter for you. Can you find half of 26? Can you do 2 times 4 over 7? Can you do a half times 3/7 for me? And can you work out a half plus 7/8? Pause the video and have a go at these questions in your light blue books now. Okay Felix, how do I find half of 26? What do I need to do? I need to do 26 divided by 2, very wise. 26 divided by 2 will give me 13. If I'm multiplying an integer by a fraction, I want to write that integer as 2 over 1. And now I need to multiply my numerators together, which will give me 2 times 4 is 8. And multiply my denominators together, 1 times 7 gives me 7. You might have written that as a mixed number. Either would be correct, 1 and 1/7. For the next one, we multiply in exactly the same way. So I get 1 times 3 on the top, which is 3, and 2 times 7 on the bottom, which gives me 14. And for the last one, when I'm adding fractions over, what do I need to do? I need to make the denominators the same, very wise. So I'm going to put both fractions over 8. Now the second fraction is already over 8, so I can leave it as 7/8. However, for the first fraction, I've done 2 times 4 to give me 8. So I need to do the same on the top. 1 times 4 gives me 4. Now I've got 4/8 plus 7/8, which will give me 11/8. Did you write that as a mixed number? What would that be? 1 and 3/8, very wise. Let's have a look at today's lesson. First of all, pause the video for a minute or two and have a little think. What does 8 divided by 2 actually mean? Pause the video, have a think. Right, so 8 divided by 2 is basically saying if I've got 8 of something, how many sets of 2 can I make within my 8? How many 2's are there in 8? For example, here's my 8 flowers, and I've got 4 sets of 2 flowers. So I can say that 8 divided by 2 is 4. 4 lots of 2 flowers. So pause the video and have a little think. What do you think 8 divided by a half means? Let's have a think. 8 divided by half is asking me how many halves. Let's pick a better colour. Let's do black. How many halves can I find within the number 8? So I've got 8 flowers, and I'm asking how many half flowers are there within 8 flowers? And there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16 half flowers within 8 whole flowers. So I know that 8 divided by a half is going to be 16. Here's a model for you. I've got a 4 as a bar and I've got 2 lots of 2. Write down any calculations this model could represent. Pause the video, have a little think. Okay, so the calculation I thought this model could represent would be how many 2's go into 4. I've said here's 4 as my big bar. How many little 2 bars can I get within 4? And the answer would be 2. I can get 2 lots of 2 bars within my 4. So 4 divided by 2 is going to give me 2. Pause the video and have a think. Write down any calculations you think this model could represent. Right, let's have a think. We've got 4 divided by 2 gave me 2, but we can also ask how many 1's are there in 4? how many 1s go into 4? And the answer is 1, 2, 3, 4. So we know that 4 divided by 1 is going to give me 4. Pause the video, Year 7. Write down any calculations you think this model could represent. So this model, I've said, tells us how many halves we can get within 4. How many halves go into 4? Otherwise known as, what's 4 divided by a half? And the answer is 1, 2, because we can get 2 within 1, 3, 4, so there's 4 of them within 2, 5, 6, 7, 8. So 4 divided by a half is asking how many halves are there in 4, and the answer is 8. Okay, Year 7, in your dark blue books for me, can you give me the title Dividing Integers by Fractions? Then I'm going to go through an example and then you're going to do an example. So pens down, eyes on me for the first example. I've been asked to model 1 divided by a half, and I'm going to do this using my bar model. My big bar represents the number that I'm dividing, so in this case it's 1. 1 divided by a half is asking how many halves can I get in 1? So we know that 1 divided by a half is going to give me 1, 2. We can get 2 halves in 1. Over to you, Year 7. In your dark blue books, can you model 1 divided by a third for me? Pause the video for a couple of minutes and work that out now. Okay, hopefully your model will look like this. Here's 1. I want to find out how many thirds go into 1, and there's 1, 2, 3 of them. So I know that 1 divided by a third is going to give me 1, 2, 3. Okay, Year 7, in your light blue books now, please pause the video for about 10 minutes and have a go at filling in this table. Each time I've given you a bar model, I've asked you a question. For example, here I've said, how many 6s go into 12? The calculation that this goes with is 12 divided by 6, and the answer is 2. Underneath, can you have a go at filling in this part of the table using the fractions? For example, the first one, I've said 1, I've divided it into halves. The question I'm asking is how many halves go into 1, otherwise known as 1 divided by a half, and the answer is 2. Pause the video for 10 minutes and complete that now, please. And these are the answers. Please check your work and see how you did. Okay, let's carry on using the bar model. However, this time we're going to be dividing larger integers by fractions. So back in your dark blue books, I'm going to go through an example and then you're going to do an example. Here's my example. I've been asked to model 3 divided by a half. The first thing I'm going to do is draw a big bar to represent I'm dividing. I know there's 3 lots of 1 within 3, so I've drawn little bars to represent my 1s, and I know that within each of those 1s I can get 2 lots of a half. So the question I'm asking is, how many halves are there in 3? Or 3 divided by a half? And the answer is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Over to you, Year 7. In your dark blue books, can you model 3 divided by a third for me? Pause the video for a couple of minutes and work that out now. Okay, let's go through the answer. This time I've got 3 as my big number I'm dividing. I can get 3 lots of 1 within 3. However, within each of those ones, I can now get 3 lots of a third. So overall, how many thirds are there in 3? Well, 3 divided by a third will give me 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Please make sure you've got this example with the bar model in your dark blue books. And then back into your light blue books for me, please pause the video for 10 minutes and have a go at modelling the following questions using the bar model and then working out the answer using your model. Pause the video and complete that now, please. And these are the answers I was looking for. Please check your work and see how you did. And finally, I want to go through modelling integers divided by non-unit fractions. So back in your dark blue books for me. I'm going to go through an example and then you're going to do an example. So here's my example. I've been asked to work out 2 divided by a third. And we've done this before. We know we need a big bar representing my 2. I've split it into ones. I know that within each of those ones I can get 3 lots of a third. So I know that 2 divided by a third, or how many thirds are there in 2, is going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. However, how can I use this model to work out what 2 divided by 2 thirds would be? Well, what I can do is I can put together 2 of my thirds to give me 2 thirds. So if I put these 2 together, that's 2 thirds. I can then put these 2 together, that's 2 thirds. And I can put these 2 together, as that's 2 thirds. Now the question I'm asking is, how many lots of 2 thirds can I fit in 2? And the answer is 1, 2, 3. 3 lots of 2 thirds can be found in 2. Over to you, Year 7, in your dark blue books. Can you model 3 divided by a quarter to start with for me? Pause the video and complete that now. Okay, hopefully your bar model will look like this. You've got 3 divided into 3 lots of 1, and within each of those ones you've got 4 lots of a quarter. So 3 divided by a quarter, or how many quarters are there in 3, will give you 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Now Year 7, can you use the same model to work out 3 divided by 3 quarters? Please pause the video and have a go at that now. Right, let's go through the answers. If I put 3 lots of quarter together, like so, there's 1 lot of 3 quarters. Here's my second lot of 3 quarters. Here's my third lot of 3 quarters. And here's my fourth lot of 3 quarters. So 3 divided by 3 quarters is going to be, how many 3 quarters can I get within 3? I can get 1, 2, 3, 4 lots of 3 quarters within my big bar that is 3. Okay, Year 7, please make sure you've got this example in your dark blue books for me. And then pause the video for about 10 minutes, model the following using a bar model in your light blue books, and use your bar model to work out the answers. Pause the video and complete that now, please. And these are the answers. Please check your work and see how you did. The first one, I've got 6 lots of 1. I've split each of those ones into 3 thirds, and then I've put the 2 thirds together and found I've got 9 lots of 2 thirds. For the second one, I've done the same with 6, and I found I've got 8 lots of 3 quarters. And for the third one, I've done the same with fifths, and found I've got 10 lots of 2/5 in 4. And that's the end of today's lesson, Year 7. Please head on over to Google Classroom and submit today's exit ticket. Thanks for listening, always a pleasure. Have a wonderful day. Goodbye.